the line between real facts and legend becomes blurred. Has anybody ever heard the name John Chapman? John Chapman. No, he wasn't a serial killer. Not unless he was born September the 26th, 1774. John was born to Nate and Elizabeth Chapman. His father was a Minuteman. When John was only 2 years old, his father, along with a lot of people during that period of time, if you were from 16 to 60, you were expected to fight the British. Now, the Indians were not very well treated by the early settlers, and so, of course, they became friendly with the British. So the settlers were fighting two different entities. So Nate, John's father, went to do his military duty. During this period of time, Elizabeth has a third child. She dies because there's not very much money. So John is 2, his sister is about 6, and they go off to be with relatives and friends that lived in Massachusetts, where they were living at the time. John decides that he and his sister would love to have their father with them when he came back from the war. But instead, the father married and had 10 more kids. Wow, it sounds like I'm talking about my family. So they had 10 more kids. As John was growing up, during that period of time in the 1700s, it was expected of the young sons to go out and work, and any money they made, they would give to the father. So this is what John did. John was sent to work for a miller. In this time, he learned different trades, and one of them was business and growing apples. When John was about 21, he decided to head out on his own. Now, mind you, in the 1790s, when he was a young man, when he headed out for the wilderness was Pennsylvania. So he heads out to Pennsylvania, and along the way, John does something unusual and unique that will not only influence his time, but the future. Have you guessed his name yet? With one word.
Appleseed.
Excuse me?
Appleseed.
Very good. Very good. He was given the name Johnny Appleseed. He would go along the coastline and plant orchards. Now, he wasn't doing this out of the kindness of his heart. He actually was a pretty good businessman. As he planted these orchards and people started coming into the territories, the land companies would say, we'll give you this parcel of land for $2 an acre. Very good at that time. But within 2 years, you have to make improvements on the land. How better to do that but actually plant orchards? So Johnny Appleseed did this. It is said that Johnny Appleseed never married, never had children, never had grandchildren, and so he was able to do all of this. One of the legends about Johnny Appleseed was they said that his skin on his feet were so thick as an elephant that he could be bitten by a snake and the snake could not penetrate. He would walk in snow without shoes. Now, mind you, during this time, we didn't have great highways and things like this. Another legend goes that one day he noticed when he's out in the orchards a group of British. So he ran into town to warn everybody. As he warns everybody, and they head for the little makeshift fort, they tell him, we need somebody to go and get troops to help us make it through the night, because the British and the Indians were both coming. So Johnny Appleseed, at 35, volunteered. Do you have any idea what it would be like to go from Mansfield, Ohio, to Mount Vernon, Ohio, 26 miles, in the 1790s? Anyway, I'm going to show you how to do it. Everybody close their eyes. Put their hands over your eyes. It's the 1790s. You don't have a nice interstate with a nice 18-wheeler coming down the road saying, with your thumb out saying, yo man, can I hitch a ride? Gotta warn the colonists. No, instead, you had dense shrubbery, wild animals, Indians that weren't very happy with the white man at the time. It's dark, 26 miles. Today, you can make it in 30 minutes. In the 1790s, it would take you all night. And that's exactly how he did. In the dark, no shoes, wild animals, dense forest. You can open your eyes now. Little hard in the 1790s. But this is what he did. He ran to the fort, got help, came back with the soldiers. Well, that's the legend. But it didn't exactly happen that way. See, during this time, Johnny Appleseed didn't write down what he did. Nobody else was writing anything down, what he was doing, until 30 years after he had died. What really happened in that 26 miles, he didn't run. He mounted a horse. He didn't go to the fort that they said he went to. He actually went to Frederickstown for it. But this gentleman, because of his ability to plant and to grow, he provided food for new settlers, helped them maintain their farms, keep their farms. And today, we enjoy a lot of the fruits of those trees that he planted. So what can one man do? He can do a lot. Next time you have an apple, that was Johnny Appleseed's apple. Mr. Toastmaster.